Say hi to YouTube.
Braylon, I got mine.
I've never lived in a haunted house, but my mother did as a teen. Recounting a true event, other houses on her street had a strange thing going on. A few homes away from her family, one night the daughter went to bed with a bad headache. The next day, she was dead. She passed away from an aneurysm. After the funeral, the family went away to get their minds off the tragedy. The father asked my uncle, my mom's brother, to check on their pets. My mom and dad were dating at the time. Went with him. My mother had heard that there was a grand piano and she wanted to play it. My dad was studying to be a veterinarian. After entering the house, my uncle and father headed to the basement to see the animals, and my mother went to the piano on the ground floor. She was playing it when she felt something brush against her ankles. She thought it must be a cat, and it left from the basement and walked past her. She kept playing and then felt it again. She looked under the piano and saw nothing. When she started again, she felt a grasp on her legs tightly. She dashed to the basement door, called my uncle and father, and waited for them. Back outside, my uncle could tell my mom was rattled and asked what was wrong. She told him what happened and he had turned white. He told her the daughter who had died used to play a game with her father. When he played the piano, she crawled underneath and grabbed his ankles and pushed his feet up and down. And paranormal stuff, I never really believed it, but until I had my own experience. But unfortunately, that's not all only experience I had in the house. Well, not me, my mom. So my mom was upstairs playing in her room when she heard her door slamming for downstairs. 10 seconds later, her uncle's voice started calling her. She got up from the room and started headed downstairs, but halfway through, she realized that she was home alone. She immediately ran up back upstairs and hid under the covers to the uncle got there. But so far, the most scariest experience that my mom has ever had was a few months after that incident. She was in her room sleeping at night, and all of a sudden she started hearing stuff move around the closet. At first she didn't think nothing of it, and decided to go to sleep. But around 20 minutes later, she got thirsty and went downstairs for a drink. However, while in the middle of drinking it, she heard more noises from her room. She immediately rushed up there, not to find anyone, but to see two hands grasping around the corner. She immediately started screaming and running to her uncle's room. He tried to calm her down and said that she was just seeing stuff, but she doesn't believe that. By far, this is my mother's most scariest experience when she was little. He told me that nothing would top that. No pun intended. A long time ago, back when I was 21, I would have a strange experience of seeing a man in the dark while I was trying to sleep at night. I never really thought much none of it, but a few experiences probably changed my mind. One night I was in bed trying to fall asleep like usual. All of a sudden I started hearing noise from the corner. I turned to the corner and see a man in the dark standing there. I didn't scream, move, run. I just laid in the bed. I couldn't move for some reason. It couldn't be sleep paralysis because I never even fell asleep yet. But eventually I realized that I was just probably tripping and hallucinating, so I stopped. However, the next experience was a little more scary. This actually happened before I was able to sleep. I was in the bathroom brushing my teeth when once again I started hearing more noises coming from my room. I went and checked, but there's no one there. Fast forward to the night. I wake up and I can't move. I'm pretty sure this one was sleep paralysis. All of a sudden my door opens and a tall man, probably like 7'2", comes in with a dark white robe on, standing there. And this probably continued for another like 5 minutes before this thing opened its mouth up very, very wide and made a weird screeching noise. I screamed but woke up from my sleep paralysis. It's funny because before this, I never really had a case of sleep paralysis. Next morning, I went to the doctor and I found out I have a sleeping disorder. That came as a shock to me, but these next few experiences were probably even scarier. Fast forward about, let's say, a few months later. At that time, I haven't had a sleep paralysis for like a while. So this is when it started back up. Once again, I was normally laying down when I felt something brush against my back. I looked and there was nothing, no one in the corner or nothing like that. Probably fell asleep for another hour, and then I got out of bed, went to the kitchen to get some, and saw the man again. But this time he was in the corner holding something in his hand. It was weird because he seemed to get darker every single time, like in shape. I don't know if that's easy to explain. But this time I didn't stand still. I ran upstairs. I was contemplating on whether I was asleep or not, but eventually I did end up sleeping. The rest of that night was normal, but this last experience was probably one of the most scariest. Well, I wouldn't say of my life, but it was pretty scary. So the night was like any other night. I was tossing and turning and trying to get some sleep. When all of a sudden I heard a psst. I look in the corner, and there he is again, but not this one. It was multiple. And all of a sudden, the mouth started to get wide, and there was red liquid coming out of it. And then they started chanting my sister's name over and over again. Keep in mind, I said there was about 8 of them, but it looked like there was like 50 of them. However, this one lasted for about 2 minutes, but it felt like an eternity. After it was done, I woke up and screamed very loud. I screamed loud that even my neighbor had to come check up on me. But what makes it scary, the story, bubble up to like level 500 and just make it completely terrifying, is how 2 weeks later, I was on the phone with my sister and we got into a little bit of an argument. She said she was going to the bar to cool off, but I found out later that night she was murdered. I don't know how my sister's death and that sleep paralysis dream could be leaked, but it still terrifies me to this day. My town is very small, and it doesn't. Let's just say it doesn't have a lot of stuff. It maybe has a few gas stations here, a few restaurants, aka fast food, and a Walmart, and a park, and not a lot of schools either. But I used to work at Walmart a lot, for probably about 2 years. But I never really experienced something as strange as this. So one day I was getting ready to go to work. And while I was in the shower, I was hearing some weird tapping noise. I couldn't figure out what it was, but I just dismissed it as a weird house noise. Fast forward to that night at the night shift, there was probably me and 2 other people. One of them was stocking shelves, and the other was folding clothes. When all of a sudden, a guy walks in and started making weird noises while looking at the ceiling. This continued for about 15 seconds, so I asked him, "Is he okay?" But he didn't say nothing. He just kept doing his weird noise and looking at the ceiling. I tried doing everything. I tried offering him a free candy bar, tried calling for help, but I didn't know what I could do. If I'm being honest, it was kind of creeping me out. I kind of wanted him to go, but I couldn't really kick him out for being a little bit annoying. This cycle continued for about a minute until he finally left. I didn't know what to think of that, but it started getting more scarier as it went on. So fast forward, I get done. It's like 4 in the morning. I get home and I get a call. I was thinking, who's calling at the 4 in the morning? This can't be good. I pick up the phone and it's the guy again, making the weird noises. I just didn't know what to do. I don't know how he got my phone number, why he was doing this, and why was he harassing me. And I stayed on the phone for about 10 seconds before hanging it up. And then again, I started hearing noises at my house. Now I was starting to think that there was like a rodent in the wall. But this time, it was coming from the basement. I walked down to the basement and realized it's coming from the washroom. I've always been scared of the washroom ever since I moved into that house. So I checked the washroom and none's there. And this guy didn't come to, like, he didn't show up for another, like, good 2 months. But fast forward 2 months later, the same thing happens. I'm at work doing a night shift and he comes in again. I was very surprised. But he didn't come and look at the ceiling or making the weird noise. Well, he walked in looking normal, but he walked up to me and did the same thing. Looked at the ceiling while making a very, very strange noise. It sounded like he was trying to imitate a cartoon character, but it was very deep. I can't really explain it. Fast forward that night, I was in bed. Once again, I started hearing weird noises, but it was coming from above me. The attic, the one thing I can think of. I went to the attic upstairs, and at first it didn't look like there's nothing there, but until I saw someone crouched behind a box. My heart skipped a beat, and then the same guy from my workplace jumped up and started screaming and chasing after me. I ran down that. I can't remember me running so fast ever in my life, but I ran down that attic so fast and ran into my neighbor's house and locked his door and explained to him what was going on. I used his phone to call the cops, but the guy didn't stop from there. He was banging on my neighbor's door saying the most horrible things. He was saying, "I'm gonna kill you. You're not gonna get away with this. How could you?" Well, making his weird noises. Fast forward to when the cops get there. They told me that this guy was mentally unstable and broke with an institution and was staying at my house ever since I moved in. I was terrified knowing that for the first like 3 months of me living there, there was someone living with me. But hey, I didn't know. What I'm most weird about, I don't know how he found out where my workplace was. However, the town is very little. It could have been easy, but make sure you check places when you get into a house. You never know if someone can be staying there. This five by far was probably the most scariest experience of my life. Hope nothing like this never happens again. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that video, but I decided that I'm gonna like bring back like some of the old series, and I haven't posted like a video like that in a while, so I thought I'd just do it. And also, yeah, I promise I'm gonna be following my new upload schedule. Hang on, real quick, find the video. Yeah, here it is, right there. So basically, what's gonna be Monday? It's gonna be scary videos, like this one right here. I'll probably put posting for something like the probably like 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. and maybe just maybe 7 p.m. Wednesday will be a guest rapper video. I know my content is kind of like mixed and stuff. Friday is anything. Saturday is gaming. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoy that video. See you guys in 2 days.